I didn't protect her. It's not your fault.
This is Daniel Krug, hearing for the first time that his wife has been killed.
She's strong. She would have fought.
But detectives knew there was more to the story. Daniel's wife had gone to police, saying a stalker had been harassing her and making her feel unsafe.
Yes, hi there. I need to report threatening emails and phone calls from a stalking ex, and just didn't know what would be the appropriate course here.
Do you live in Broomfield?
I live in Broomfield. I have no idea where he is.
Then he's threatening violence against you and your family, correct?
Correct. He told me that I should kill myself, and then he said that he sure hopes my husband drives safe and doesn't have anything to kill him.
Oh my gosh, okay.
It's a lot, and it has definitely made me paranoid everywhere I go, unfortunately. So,
while Christelle believed the stalker was her ex-boyfriend, investigators would soon discover the truth. The real stalker was someone much closer than she ever realized.
We have a lot of information that points your direction.
But will the weight of the evidence force him to break?
And I think it's a shame that you're not being more honest about it, because your wife deserves it.
At midday on December 14th, 2023, police in Broomfield, Colorado received a call from Daniel Krug, who sounded increasingly concerned about his wife, Christelle. He explained that she had stopped answering his calls and text messages, something that was unusual for her, especially given the fact that she was in the middle of an ongoing stalking investigation. For a woman already living in fear, her silence was enough to raise immediate alarm. When the first officer arrived at the Krug home, he knocked repeatedly but received no response. The quiet around the house only heightened his concern, and as he walked the perimeter, he glanced through the garage window. What he saw inside froze him in place. The outline of a body lying motionless on the floor. The officer quickly radioed for backup, and within moments the decision was made to force entry into the home. Once inside, the truth became painfully clear. The figure on the garage floor was Christelle, and she had been brutally attacked. She had suffered severe head trauma and multiple stab wounds to the chest, injuries so grave that medics could only confirm she was already gone by the time they arrived. Detectives had to move quickly to pin down the suspect. Was it the stalker who had been terrorizing Christelle and her family? A random home intruder? Or maybe someone closer to home? As we're about to find out, there was so much more going on in this case than anyone was prepared for. On the surface, Daniel and Christelle Krug seemed like a stable couple. Both were 43 years old, married for more than a decade, and raising 3 children together. They had steady careers, owned 2 homes, and appeared to be living the kind of family life many would consider secure and ordinary. But behind that picture-perfect exterior, the reality was very different. Those closest to them later described the marriage as strained and distant, with little real connection left between husband and wife. One family member put it simply: the relationship was not good. Conversations between Daniel and Christelle revolved almost entirely around their children, with little intimacy or partnership remaining. Even Daniel himself admitted it felt less like a marriage and more like a co-parenting arrangement. And by that point, they weren't even sharing a bedroom.
Are not in a good place.
Okay.
We have not been in a good place for a while.
Okay.
I told her I wanted counseling. She said no.
And when was that? Sort of ultimatum? Long time ago?
Yeah, months.
Okay.
We live together. We have joint finances. We obviously co-parent the kids. We do maintain separate bedrooms. That's kind of where we are in the ebb and flow of a relationship.
Okay.
But on October 2nd, something happened that temporarily pulled Christine closer to her husband. She received a series of disturbing messages from someone claiming to be her ex-boyfriend, Anthony, a man she hadn't seen or spoken to in more than 20 years. At first, she stayed quiet and tried to deal with it on her own, until an email arrived that left her shaken. Attached was a photo of Daniel casually walking to his office, proof that whoever was sending these messages was watching them closely. Christine finally told her husband, and together they contacted police. She admitted she had received a few crude messages from the man named Anthony over the years, but only now had they turned threatening.
I have an ex from a very long time ago who has occasionally, over the last 20 years, found me on social media apps or whatever and contacted, and it's never been an issue until this month. So this month, I have received numerous text messages, and then today I got an email that is very threatening, threatening against both me and my family.
According to police affidavits, the messages didn't stop even after Christine filed her report. Instead, they escalated in tone, becoming so aggressive that officers carried out a wellness check on both Christine and Daniel, only 1 month before her death.
Based on the fact that he could show up there, and I don't see vehicles unless he's like stationed out like on corners. He's really on the street to know when I'm leaving.
Okay.
But
Nobody, like no car that keeps popping up that you can think of that's like, hey, it's weird, I saw X car or anything like that.
Well, I ran a background check on him,
Okay.
and I know what vehicle he drives, and I never see that vehicle. But it's a nondescript vehicle.
The Camry?
Yeah. And he could be switching vehicles as well if he's
Sure.
having fun trading with the front. So.
And so this would be my next question.
Yeah.
Are you sure he is actually putting eyes on you and following you, or is he just saying stuff that's specific but general enough that he could, you're like, ooh. Like...
So the only way that I could think of that this event that he would be able to say what he did without putting eyes on me is if he had a tracker on my phone and my phone picked up literally in that building and it didn't pick up any of the other surrounding buildings. But otherwise, like where I parked and then where I went to tell me that I went into my dentist.
Yeah, that's
on
a
that
little
street
weird.
when there's like so many other businesses there. The only other one is that he had taken a picture of my husband getting out of his vehicle.
Where?
In Denver.
Okay.
From that point on, the Krug family lived under constant fear. They created detailed routines to ensure safety, developed code words, and avoided leaving the house alone unless absolutely necessary. Their children and even extended relatives were brought into the loop, kept aware of the ongoing danger. To add another layer of security, they installed a full surveillance system with cameras inside and outside the home. Despite these precautions, the fear never eased. The threats weighed so heavily on Christine that she enrolled in firearm safety courses and began carrying a gun, hoping it might give her a fighting chance if the stalker ever confronted her directly. On the morning of December 14th, the family carried out what seemed like a normal routine. The kids were sent off to school. Daniel left for work, and Christine returned home to begin her day working remotely. It was a scene they had repeated countless times before, but this time would be the last. No one would see Christine alive again, except for the one person responsible for ending her life.
Hi there. My name is Dan Krug. I don't think this is an emergency, but this feels really weird.
Okay.
My wife isn't responding to text messages or phone calls.
Okay.
And we've had threats against us. She was supposed to meet with Detective Martinez today, but I can't get a hold of him. Can I get either someone in the house to check in with Martinez, or maybe both, maybe a wellness check at the house?
What's your wife's name?
Chris Field. Kristil.
Okay. And last name?
Krug.
Okay.
She texted me like, I don't know, 3-ish hours ago.
Okay.
And I've asked her multiple questions since then,
Okay.
and she's not responding.
Oh, okay.
After officers entered the house and found Kristil dead, they turned to Daniel with the devastating truth. And his reaction, caught on camera, would speak volumes.
Did you guys drive together? We drove together.
Daniel returned home shortly after officers had arrived, but instead of being allowed near the scene, he was immediately redirected and taken to the police station. There he would sit across from detectives who were ready to question him, while arrangements were made for his 3 children. The time was 1:46 p.m., just a little over an hour after Kristil's body had been discovered. From the very start of his interview, Daniel struggled to speak clearly. He stumbled over his words, stuttered through explanations, and seemed unable to compose himself, all while detectives carefully studied every detail of his behavior.
And you have a seat on the couch. It's a bit more comfortable than everywhere else. So, again, I know this is the last thing in the world that you ever want to experience. We're trying to do our very best to figure everything out. Okay? So I understand you have 2 phones with you. Those phones are, you said one's a work phone and one is your personal, right? So, who do you work for?
The state.
The state. What do you do for the state?
Department of Public Health.
Okay.
I do money.
Money for them?
Shopping.
Well, you're still going to need this stuff on the list.
Public health.
And environment.
I do operations. I do money.
How it all works. So, your home security system, you access that through your personal phone?
Google Nest.
It's Google Nest. Okay. Okay.
Just the home.
Home. Okay. So I have your permission to operate this phone and get what we need?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is it okay if I do that somewhere else, or do you want me to do that in front of you?
I need to know if Ellen contacts me. Stay. And this is stay.
This is work. Okay, that's work phone. Well, what do you have on your work phone?
Separate. It's just work email, work, everything. It's
just work stuff.
Cora.
Okay.
Open records. Yeah. Always separate phones.
Okay. All right. So how many different cameras do you have?
4. Doorbell. Side of the house, driveway, back door.
How long have you had it?
Camera or doorbell a couple years. Sorry. Doorbell a couple years. The others, all since September. We had an intruder. I called the police. What was his name? His card is on the refrigerator. Chauncey.
Okay.
He called. He came when we had a garage intruder. Ran past me. I bought 2 cameras that night. I don't know when that was. It was September. I bought 2 cameras that night. I got 3 more with Stalker, with Kickman.
Throughout the questioning, you'll hear Daniel mention Kickman, the label his family came up with for Christile's stalker.
So when do your cameras go off? Do you ever have them set to turn off?
24/7.
Okay.
They don't turn off. If you lose internet or in the app, you can turn them off. That's it. 24/7.
And who has the ability to turn off the cameras? Who has the ability to go in the app and turn these off?
Christile, me, and I can't think.
It's all right. It's all right, Dan.
And house phone.
House phone.
I tell you where you are.
I'm in the Google Nest app.
No. Home. Home shows all 4.
Oh, perfect.
And I did that once. Home. Good. I can settings.
Okay. Oh,
just us.
Just you guys. Okay.
The house phone. It's a cell phone. That's
Christile, you, and the Krug family. Okay, those are the only people.
That's it.
All right. So I'm just going to write that down. Yep.
The man who just walked into the room isn't a stranger to Daniel. He's the same detective who's been handling Christile's stalking case since October, and he knows their situation almost as well as the couple themselves. What Daniel doesn't realize is that this detective is holding back information, details that could change the entire direction of the interview.
I know. Did what you said. Call the police. Couldn't reach you. Call the police. Did what you said. I didn't protect her. It's not your fault. I was supposed to protect her. It's not your fault. I'm sorry I didn't answer. I actually wasn't in today. As soon as I heard it. I should have. Christile said she was leaving you. I don't know where that came from. I saw that screenshot they sent. Did she mention anything about that prior to that text? She was supposed to. She just texted. She didn't answer. But I asked questions. Oh.
Dan, when did you leave the house today? Guess. Approximate.
a 20. It's on the count.
You said 8:20, and you left in which vehicle?
Mine.
Which is a?
Black Monster.
Okay. 8:24 sound right?
Okay.
You left out of the garage?
Always. Okay. Was her car in the garage at the time? Yeah. She was rushing me out the door. I didn't feel good. I was late leaving. She told me I had to go because she had a meeting. She was rushing me, and I went. She was in the kitchen. She was in the kitchen.
The detectives start off with simple questions about where Daniel had been that day. Basic details they know they'll circle back to once he's calmer and more focused. A lot of this early footage is hard to follow since Daniel answers in a low voice, almost whispering, making parts of the exchange nearly impossible to hear.
What's your guys' interactions been like leading up to this?
Distant. I felt like she was keeping secrets.
In what way?
She didn't tell me about Kickman. She keeps disappearing for hours. I told her when this was done, we should divorce. Didn't mean it. I don't want to divorce her. I told her she can't keep secrets.
What sort of secrets was she keeping?
Kickman. For a month before she told me. She would leave and be gone for so long. Last night, no, not last night. No rehearsal last night. Tuesday. She left 2 hours early to get Wolfline. No reason, just 2 hours early. She kept leaving early, coming home late. I asked where she wouldn't tell me.
What did she say?
Said sometimes she had to pick up dinner or talk to Lars or anything. Never a straight answer.
Do you think she was meeting with people? Meeting with one person or anything like that?
I asked if there was anyone. She said no. Where are my kids? Have they been picked up?
they were on their way to get picked up now, and they were going to come here. Would you be willing to give us the password and all that stuff to the online camera so we can look at those? I have to share. Okay. There's no password here. Gotcha. This is a cell phone consent, which would allow us to go through your cell phone so we can verify the communications between you and Christille and everything like that. But in order for us to do that, you need to allow us to do that. Is that something that you'd be willing to? So we can download your phone, just so we can match up all the information that we'll get from Christille's phone to your phone, and that way we can kind of just backtrack everything.
As they keep things moving and wait for a third detective, Daniel's story slips. He shows signs of memory loss about what happened when he got back to the house.
I have no idea. I never went in. I do not know. I don't have an answer for you on that. I don't know what was inside. I never made it past the tape. I was late to showing up. And then at that point, I didn't need to go in. Then we were just handling security and you showed up. Did I stop the investigation? Did I stop it? No. Oh, sorry, what was that question? Did I stop? Did you stop it? No, you did not stop it. Not at all. No. We knew you were on your way, and then you showed up. You gave us permission to go in the house. You signed consent, so we could yes, you signed a consent to search your home, so we can continue the investigation inside. Otherwise, we'd have to pause and wait for a search warrant to be approved by the district attorney and the judge before we could begin the investigation inside. But you gave us consent. Now, you can revoke that consent at any time. That is entirely up to you. It's voluntary. We get 2 bedrooms. Okay. That happens sometimes. That happens sometimes. So you said the cameras are on all the time? Yeah. Looks like about 8:15, a lot of them go off.
This is where the detective reveals a critical detail that changes everything. At 8:15 that morning, the home security system, including every camera inside and outside the house, was shut off after Christille came home, but before Daniel left for work.
The side yard, the signal gets weak. Mm-hmm. I'm buying a booster, but that one gets interrupted, but no, they don't turn off.
With time running out, the detective asks one more question before Daniel has to turn to practical concerns.
I know you said that you don't think that there was somebody else. She said.
Why do you keep asking that?
I'm just trying to put everything together to kind of get a bigger picture, because you said she's been acting kind of weird lately and, being very secretive and withholding of information for you. So I'm just trying to understand, I guess, so we can backtrack what she's been doing this past month. I'm going to go give these to my partner, and then we'll get your car down there so you have it back on the sooner side, and then I'm going to go verify where the kids are and how long until they get here, okay? Give me a couple minutes.
Before the formal interview even begins, Daniel learns his children have been brought to the station, and now he's faced with a difficult choice.
This is your kids, right? Your kids do not know yet. Okay?
Are they here?
They're here. Arrive in the hall. You want to tell them. No, they're not scared. They know they're at the PD. They know something happened. Your oldest saw video. Yeah, you asked her to turn it off. We are entertaining them. We're getting them donuts. We are treating them like children and caring for them as children. Okay? Do you want to be who shares that news with us? What do you need and what do you want? You don't have to know. You don't have to know. It's not on you. Out there, I'm going to share you what your in-laws are saying out there, okay? Your in-laws are arranging, if it's okay with you, between your brother-in-law, your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, and your sister-in-law to share the news. Is that something that you want? Do you want it to come from them? Do you want it to come from us? They agree that that could be a good plan. You want to tell them? The best thing in this scenario is to be dad, to say that word clearly, and be there for them afterwards.
How you doing, dude?
Okay.
Sitting. Yeah, have a seat.
The next section of the interrogation has been redacted to protect the identity of the Krug children. It features Daniel calmly telling his children that their mother is dead. Finally, the third detective walks in. She's assigned directly to the case and needs to be brought up to speed on Daniel and Christile's situation.
Hi, Daniel. My name's Jennifer King Sullivan. I'm just another detective that's working on this, and there's a lot of moving parts, so thanks for being patient with us, okay? So we're just trying to get everything taken care of that we need to get taken care of right now, okay? Do you need anything right now? Do you want some water, or...?
This is a nightmare.
Oh, I'm sure.
I just want to be done. I want to hold my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get through it.
Okay. So I am just going to sit with you for a minute. I don't really have anything specific to talk to you about, but I just wanted to be sure that you weren't alone. And I believe that we're just trying to figure out stuff with your car and phone right now. But like I said, I've been in a different direction. They just asked me to come sit with you for a little bit. So I'm really sorry that you're going through this right now and that this is how we've met. I know your kids are with a lot of family right now. I can get specific answers about what's going on with them, but and we're trying to, like I said, get everything that we need from you right now, so that you can move forward with everything else right now. That's a lot. I mean, I wish I could tell you something that would give you words of wisdom to deal with all of this, but there's nothing I can say. Right. Have you ever met him before? No.
Never spoke.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know a lot of the details of the case. Obviously, Detective Martinez has been working on this for a while, so he definitely knows more than I do. Do you have to carry two phones? Like, I carry two phones. Are those both your phones?
Personal.
Yeah, that's how I am too. What do you do for a living?
I work for the state.
Okay.
Budgeting. I do money and public health.
Okay.
The third detective begins by covering familiar ground, repeating many of the same questions Daniel has already been asked. What follows is hours of back and forth as investigators circle the same details again and again, trying to collect every piece of information they can before the real interrogation begins. Up to this point, the detectives have been careful with Daniel, speaking gently and giving him space to process. But now, the tone shifts. They're ready to confront him directly with what they believe truly happened. And their version of events is about to clash sharply with the story Daniel has been telling.
Okay. So, obviously we've been here for a little bit, and, you want to leave and everything, but we still need a lot of stuff answered and whatnot, okay? But just because of the time and everything like that, we have to go over some formality stuff, okay? Okay. And just given that you were the last one to see Christine, we want to go over your constitutional rights. Just like I've gone over with the consent to searches and all the forms that we've signed leading up to this, we just now need to talk about your rights so we can proceed with getting the answers that we both want.
Yeah. I have two different voices going through my head right now. I have my brother Matthew. Yeah, I've mentioned him. He's the sheriff's lieutenant. And I have his voice saying, talk to the police. And in typical cop fashion, he married a prosecutor. So I have Lynn's voice in my head going, get a fucking lawyer. I just want this to be done. I don't want to go home. I just don't want to be here.
When was your birthday, Dan?
10/24/8.
That makes you 44. 43.
It's not 2024 quite yet.
No. Just trying to get past this next year already. Like I said, you're obviously versed in kind of what I want to talk about, but I just want to make sure we go over them, okay? That way it's good. So this is our generic form we have for everybody. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to speak with an attorney and to have him or her present during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, the court will appoint one for you free of charge. You have the right to stop this interview at any time. Do you understand all that stuff?
I think so.
Do you have any questions about that stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Keeping all of that in mind, is this something that you want to continue to chat about?
I guess.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. If I can get you to initial each of these lines, just saying that you've read those, understand them, and then sign date and time down here. Sign this. I certainly appreciate that, Dan.
Oh, we're trying to do is get a full picture of everything that has happened, and you know, our job is to seek the truth, and that's all we're trying to do, and we appreciate and need your help in doing that, 100%.
According to Daniel, Christine said she was scheduled to meet with the detective that day. But the detective makes it clear no such meeting had been arranged.
Well, so, and I know I'm kind of late to the game on this because I haven't been that involved in the investigation that Detective Martinez has been doing for a long time, and so he may already know this or have a sense of it, but I'm still going to ask these questions because I want to try to understand too. And maybe you've already asked this, but again, I'm just going to throw it out there. The meeting with Detective Martinez today, did she tell you specifically what that was about or why it was occurring? Okay.
All I have is the one sentence in the text message that I already gave him.
Okay. And then tell me a little bit more about your guys' relationship. Like, I kind of want the intimate details, to be perfectly honest, because it's important for us to understand what's sort of led up to today. I mean, like, what's a normal You were super detailed in your account of the last 24 hours, but none of it really included your relationship or your interaction. It's very, and I know how families are. I have my own family. It's very much like a business, right? We all have our roles and we all got to get it done. But what's going on with you guys? Because it seems like there's been a lot of stress on your relationship.
We are not in a good place.
Okay.
We have not been in a good place for a while.
Okay.
I told her I wanted counseling. She said no.
And when was that all? Sort of ultimatum? Long time ago?
Yeah, months.
Okay.
We live together. We have joint finances. We obviously co-parent the kids. We do maintain separate bedrooms. That's kind of where we are in the ebb and flow of a relationship.
Okay.
So that it's tough enough to say this. Just let me get it out.
Sure.
So, other than talking about the kids, there hasn't been a lot of dialogue for a little while. I can't put a time frame on it. It hurt me that she didn't tell me about the stalker when it started, but she brought me in right away once he sent her a picture of me. I think that was Halloween.
Okay.
So she told me the next day, and I was definitely hurt and angry that she was keeping that as a secret. She said that she had been confiding in her brother Lars, and so.
Did she ever tell you why she didn't tell you that?
Because she and I were not in a good and healthy place. Well, not the phrase I should say. So she was confiding more in him. As once she told me, I wanted access to her logs. I wanted to know what the conversations were with Martinez. And at that point, she brought me fully up to speed, and I saw the horrible messages. I saw the ad, all that crap. And that's when she and I started working on game plans. Again, what do we do to protect family, to protect the kids? Define your threat level. we had a clear plan of attack. We could just say, we're at nuclear, that's a full lockdown, here's what it means. We're at red, here's what that means.
And the kids were kind of involved in that too, because you kind of shared a little bit with that the kids were somewhat aware of what was going on. But
they had to know enough to be cautious. I started carrying these weapons. Christine also has her own pepper spray. She started carrying a handgun that her father had given her right up until she took it to a range and it jammed, and she decided she didn't trust it anymore, so she went out and bought a new one.
Okay.
So she had a gun, she was armed. I don't want lethal items. So she and I were planning together. I was putting up the security cameras. She had gotten a referral from somebody for some home protection, home security expert. She was, I don't know if she already scheduled it or if she was going to reach out, have him come out, look at the house, and I would move cameras and I would put up the last two cameras kind of wherever he suggested. My brother Matthew said he would review the plans, just give another set of eyes once we got them. Hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Anyway, she shared information with me. We were in heavy duty in the planning of everything. We didn't let each other kind of be alone anywhere. Had to take dog for walks. We would do that together.
So it almost sounds like all this kind of maybe even brought you guys closer, not maybe emotionally closer, but you guys were physically sort of working on things besides your kids.
There was a
mutual.
Yeah, there was, over the course of November, there was a better team feel.
Okay.
Respond to crisis.
Right.
I don't remember when I came in and we had our earlier interview, but you asked me why she didn't tell me right away. And I didn't have a good answer other than we're on the rocks. But that nagged at me and kept eating at me, and I kept asking her, why? And it felt like she was holding something back. She shared the log with me, all of the screen captures, all the communications that she shared. And she would tell me vaguely kind of where she was going. I made sure she always knew where I was, because the threats were against my safety and her just being abducted. She wasn't as honest, or I can't say honest, she wasn't as open about where she would go. And that it just kept nagging at me.
Well, sure, especially you guys are trying to work together to be safe, keep your family safe, keep your, as dysfunctional as it is, you still both had the common goal of keeping it safe, right?
And so, after our earlier interview, with things nagging at me and her not answering my questions, I got to a point where it wasn't an ultimatum, but it was I had her as a partner to protect the family, but it didn't feel like a partner who valued me. And I told her at that point, I told her I didn't want to die for someone who didn't care about me anymore.
That's really hard.
And I told her I wanted a divorce.
And when did that conversation happen?
Oh, weeks ago, before Thanksgiving.
Daniel tells detectives that he was the one who had been pushing for a divorce, painting himself as the partner ready to end the marriage. But when investigators later spoke with Christile's family, they heard a very different story. By December, it was Christile who had already decided she wanted out, and according to her relatives, she was the one actively moving forward with plans to leave Daniel, not the other way around.
Okay. And how did she take that?
Angry. Obviously. Mostly anger that I said it now, with everything else going on. So she said she didn't want to talk about it until all of this was done. And then he got quiet, and we just kind of sat in that. And so we kind of alternated conversations between how do we protect the kids, how do we secure the house, how do we start the process.
So do you think she wanted to get a divorce? Or do you think is that why she shut you down? Like, we're not doing anything until this is over? When you kind of had your epiphany of like, it sounds like you feel like you were completely, I don't know, written off by her, or that she had zero care for you anymore.
I don't want a divorce.
Okay.
I've loved her for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was hurting when I said that, and what I wanted was her to say she cared about me. She didn't.
Now, what about, and I don't want to, open an even bigger wound, but do you think there was any infidelity going on, on either side? Were you seeing someone else? Was she seeing someone else?
Me? Absolutely not. No, I have remained completely faithful to her since our very first summer together. I don't feel like this is my place to say it, but I feel like I need to say it as well. Lars and Kate are also going through a divorce.
Okay.
So she and her brother have been talking about logistics of Lars's divorce and what went wrong with them, and I want to say lessons learned isn't the right phrase.
No, I can understand what you're
But
saying.
What insights do we get from them? Where again, you're trying to make sure you're amicable. You have kids. You still care about each other. So she had been talking a lot to Lars. I'm sorry, I'm all disjointed on timeline. I apologize.
You're fine.
We had birthday was on the and so I planned a trip to immersive game box in Denver, life-size video games.
Yep.
So had the room, sent the kids in there, Christine was in there, Kate was in there. And I asked Lars if he would stay outside with me. because I wanted us to stand guard, and that's what I asked. Would he stand guard with me? And he did, and he and I talked for 2 hours about this, and he said that he didn't think she was having an affair, that he admitted their problems to her, and she didn't say anything about having anyone else. After he brought that up, I think it was after he brought that up, I asked her if there was anyone else. And she said no. It wasn't a long drawn out, it was just no.
From what you said earlier, it kind of made me like you feel that there could have been somebody else, because she's not being honest with you about where she's going. She's only telling you, she's only letting you in so far, right? Like, she's showing you what she wants to, and then, I mean, like, you got hinked up by her saying, why are you working from home today, right? Why are you here so late? So, I mean, I don't know, am I reading into what you're telling us, that you think that there maybe was something else going on? Or is that just me and my suspicious nature?
You should have suspicious nature.
Because you seem to be hinting towards that. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Okay. But what's your feeling? What's your heart? What's your gut? What's everything else tell you?
I want to believe her.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know if I do.
Okay. What does her typical day look like? So what would she have done after you leave the house? Because I don't know any of that about her, and maybe you already know this. But like today, after you leave to go to work, what would she do? Or do you know?
I know a little bit. We don't monitor each other's work calendars unless it's an early meeting that impacts the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So on a typical day, after she drops off the kids, she comes home. She always works remote pre-pandemic. Her teams, she's a project manager. Sometimes she's managing a project with European teams.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're all domestic. So it's not uncommon that she has 8 a.m. meetings.
Sure.
Because that's when she can meet with people in the UK. So she comes home, she goes into her office, she does her meetings. If I'm home, I take the dog for a walk. If she's the only one home, she takes the dog for a walk. But otherwise, she's typically home from 8 until she has to go pick up kids at 3.
I mean, with all the cameras around there now, are you ever doing any, like, checking up on her, seeing if that's... I mean, again, I would do that. If I thought my husband were hiding things from me or being a little shady.
That always felt kind of creepy to me.
Okay, you never did that. I mean, come on, curiosity.
Everybody peeks.
Okay.
Push notifications on the phone. Dear God,
every
time someone walks their dog down the side of the house, we're right next to the mailboxes every time the mailman comes. So there's so much noise that no, I don't monitor because there's noise.
Okay.
Eventually, the questioning circles back to Anthony, the supposed stalker who had been tormenting the Krug family for 2 months, and the man Daniel quickly points to as the one responsible for Christile's murder. As he shifts the blame, Daniel appears calmer, almost relieved to have a target to focus on. But as detectives listen more closely, the cracks in his version of events are already beginning to show.
And then, kind of going back in time, kind of back to the whole overarching investigation that we've been talking about. The first time that this guy reached out to Christile was the beginning of October, I believe October 2nd.
We think that's the first time he reached out. We've second-guessed some things that happened in September. We had an intruder in the garage. I came home to find the garage door open, and as I was pulling in, someone came running out. That's what prompted the security cameras.
Gotcha. Did that get reported to us?
Yeah. So it was that, and then she had, I think she told you about this, that weird clear hose that she found sticking out the back of her car. So we've been second guessing the timeline, and she was wondering if Kickman thought that car was mine rather than hers. Play stereotypes. I have the more family car than her.
Sure.
So that was her theory.
So what, can I just ask, what do you think happened today with Christine? What do you think? What's your theory?
I don't know.
Well, you gotta have one. I mean, I'm sure a million different thoughts have run through your mind. What do you think happened?
I left. She was in the kitchen. She would have had whatever meetings that she had. And then she said she was meeting with you. But you know nothing about that, so I have no idea what the fuck that is. What's his name? The other detective said that the cameras were turned off. That shouldn't happen. The only way that the cameras can be turned off is through the app. One of us has to hit the button. Internet outage will cause something that doesn't turn them off. It just interrupts the feed for a couple minutes. He said they were turned off. And one of them looks like it has something on it. So, in my brain, I'm thinking someone made a move against her. I don't know where the dog is. He's somewhere in the house. Really jumpy, skittish dog. She has a gun that she carries around. It's always in one of three places. Well, I guess four. It's either on her. She has I think 3 different holsters now. It's either on her. If she's in her office, it's on the filing cabinet directly behind her. If she's anywhere else on the first floor, it's on here, the high counter next to the plants. Always. It's either here, here, or if she's upstairs, it is sitting next to the headboard. So, in my brain, someone came to the door. It's Christmas time. I have Amazon packages being delivered every damn day. Someone came to the door. She doesn't usually answer the door. But she must have, because she must have. So in my brain, the story that I have is someone came to the door. Maybe she went outside to get a package, and they must have come in. And she's a fighter. She's strong. She would have fought. That's why I warned them when I was at the house, and I asked, did she get any shots off? She has a gun. She just went through the concealed carry class. She has an appointment to get her license. She to have been surprised, but without a doubt, she fought.
But if she would have just answering the door for a package, you think she would have been packing, answering the door? I mean, does she do that all the time?
Well, the Amazon drivers just drop something and go.
Right.
So, with or without a gun, she's a fighter.
Okay. And why do you say that? Have you guys fought before, or you just know that?
No.
Okay.
I know her.
Okay.
She refuses to be a victim. I know her. Gun, no gun, she will fight.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
So, you think either she was taken off guard or it was somebody familiar to her?
I don't know who familiar would have been. She had to have been taken off guard. Because the familiar would be, people don't just swing by the house. It just doesn't happen. I was at work. Stu Blars was at work. Her parents are retired, but nobody just swings by. Especially during work days. She doesn't like being interrupted during work. So people know not to just stop by, which is why it had to have been a surprise.
So, I mean, who do you think killed her?
I think it's Kate. I think it's Anthony.
Okay.
That's the first time anyone said that sentence.
I'm sorry well, that's what happened, and that's why we're taking this so seriously.
I think it was Kickman. And Anthony, I'm sorry. If not him, I have no other suggestion.
Yeah. What if I told you that we had already spoken with Anthony and there's no way that he was in town today?
To bring my children home.
What are you terrified of?
If it wasn't him, who was it? I replaced all of our locks after the garage intruder. I'll do it again. Cameras. I don't know who else.
Okay. So there's a lot of moving parts to this investigation. There's a lot of things that we're doing and working on, and a lot of, our entire investigations unit, I would say, fairly is working on this, right? Because, like I said, we take this very seriously. This doesn't happen very often in Broomfield. And
lived here for a long time.
We take all crime very seriously, especially crime like this. So, one of the things that we really started looking into today in an effort to find Anthony is what is it? The Gmail. What was the other?
Text now numbers.
The text now numbers and things like that. And
I don't know what text now is.
It's like an app that you can get fake phone numbers and contact people through Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's like a Wi-Fi only.
Oh, the spoofing. Gotcha.
Kind of.
Yeah, not really spoofing, but like if I wanted to text somebody, let's say I was buying something on Craigslist and I didn't want them to know my real phone number because I don't want them coming back to me or whatever, I would just get a text now account and it would, almost like a Google Voice, whatever, okay? So, the really weird part about looking into some of that stuff, because we have what we call exigent circumstances right now. You understand what that means? Like, so for us in our legal mumbo jumbo, that means that someone died, and we're looking into it very seriously, and so there's an sense of urgency in getting that information.
Gotcha.
Okay, so companies are more likely to cooperate with us if we're investigating that versus a harassment or a stalking or...
Remember how we talked, when I submit my legal paperwork, it takes a while.
Yeah.
But because somebody was murdered today, we have the ability to tell them that, and then they will generally provide us with information immediately. That's what exigent circumstances means.
Okay.
Because we're trying to find the killer.
So far, the detectives have been careful with Daniel. But a chilling discovery is about to turn the case upside down.
So some of that information that we've been able to receive today is a little bit, I don't know, concerning, I guess. The Gmail account that, and you can speak more specifically.
And that text now number we were talking about, the number that he initially texted Christine from. The Gmail account, the Kickman account that you guys initially received with the photo of you in it, and the phone number, those originated through their IP addresses at your office.
Doesn't make any sense. Well, he took the photo of me at my office.
Right. But both of those accounts originated from IP addresses that list back to your office.
I don't know what to do with that.
Well, tell us about the IP address. Do you know anything about the network or anything at your work? Or
I do money.
yeah, I know, but like here, I believe me, I know nothing about tech stuff. That's why I keep looking to him to explain this crap. I still know
there are Wi-Fi access throughout the facility for employees, and there's public Wi-Fi access throughout the entire facility.
Okay.
CPHE guest, I think is what it is. And we literally post the passwords in every single meeting room. Okay. The board meeting I was running yesterday, I can literally pull up the video because I have to record it. And on a table in the back of the room, giant paper that says what the Wi-Fi is and what the password is.
Okay. What's the IP address on your computer on your desk?
I couldn't tell you. Okay. It's managed by the state. I have no idea.
Gotcha. Because like here, we all have our own individual IP addresses to our individual computers, right? Mine's one address, hers is another address, and every other person has their individual addresses. So
I have no idea if we have person-specific or across the board. I'd say whichever one is cheaper we have.
Okay. Because right now we're working with the director to get all of the IP information to see what devices we're using that specific address during that time. So, because I guess the biggest concern is just the timing of everything, that it just doesn't quite make sense to have somebody create an account, take a photo, and then immediately send it off, and then the account is no longer being used.
And also, let's add on top of that the fact that there's, as far as we know right now, there's no physical way that Kickman could have been involved in this based on where he's at right now. So, you know, the mystery continues, and
It has to be the husband.
well,
Things are certainly pointing in one direction right now.
well, and you've given us reason. Here's the other thing, Daniel, is I sympathize with the fact that you're in an extremely frustrating situation, and I don't think that your married life is anything that I would want to be a part of. I know you want to be a part of your kids' lives. So all I'm saying is I can understand, or I can try to understand how frustrating or how frustrated you must feel. But you can also sense that's why we're asking all these questions about infidelity and everything else. Is there some other mystery man that we don't know about? Or is this a case of...
I have been faithful. Period. I want to believe that she has, but I don't know. Is there another person? I don't know.
I mean, you said yourself, too, and I'm just going to put it out there, because I think we're all thinking it, or at least probably we are, is that, and when you're telling the story, I drew that conclusion, that a lot of this stalking stuff in this report that you guys, of this kick man, has brought you closer, and maybe given a little bit of hope in your relationship that you can accomplish something together.
I don't know where you're going with that. I'm sorry.
You're using this,
My brain is fried.
I'm sure.
kind of using this circumstance to bring you guys closer together. You yourself said that. Having the common goal of circling the wagons.
It's something along the lines that it felt like we had more teamwork.
Right.
I think there's a big, big gap between teamwork and rekindling a romance.
Yeah. But it delays the inevitable.
But I asked for the divorce.
And I think we've also heard the same thing about Cristal today. Cristal, I'm sorry.
Because I'm going to throw this idea out there. I mean, you know Anthony has reached out to her in the past a number of times.
She's been very open about that, yes.
Right. The last time was 2016-ish. He had asked her at one point if she wanted to have sex.
I think he's approached her multiple times.
Right. So this next time, if there's any bit of question about infidelity, whether it's with Anthony or anybody else, we might create an account to see if we can create a facade or see if Christine's actually interested in Anthony. So we ask her and push the bounds a little bit and see if that will confirm our suspicions of infidelity. You don't get the response and the openness you once did for about 28 days, from October 2nd to October 31st. So you amp it up a little bit. Send a photo of yourself to her, an account you created. see what her response is.
I mean, the IT department, in fact, I can go check on where we're at with those records, but a lot of this stuff is going to shine through. My hope is just that we can at least be honest about those things and agree that maybe this started out the way that it was reported, and then maybe it turned into something different.
Daniel now realizes that the story he's tried to paint about himself, Christelle, and their family isn't convincing the detectives.
Is that would suggest that I would put my children through this. We were drilling the kids on what to do if we said run. That they had to pair up, they had to run. I'm looking into counseling for the kids. Figure out when the heck to start that. I get the narrative you're putting together, but it alleges that I would do this to my children.
But I think ultimately what happened today would bring you the closest to your children that you've probably ever been in your mind.
I'm very close to my children. I take dance class, we hang out, we do our puzzles together. When I play our games, he prefers sleeping next to me rather than next to Christelle. I read her Harry Potter. I love and adore my children.
You're afraid to lose time with them if you get the divorce.
Provide us a different explanation then. We know it's not Kickman. If you were watching these facts unfold in front of you in a movie, what would you say happened?
There has to be someone
that was able to turn off the cameras, that was able to access a password-protected system to turn off cameras, that was able to use your IP address from your work to create accounts, to send messages and photos, to act as a stalking suspect. Well, tell me. Help me make sense of it.
I don't know, I'm not the one who does this. I'm analytical at work, and I read and write fiction at home. I don't do crime drama. I don't know what it is.
My conversations with Christelle, she was not putting you in the most masculine light. And when your buttons are pushed far enough, people break, people snap, people act out, people do things that they might regret without thinking. And it could be just the littlest button in the end that causes that.
I have no doubt that she said negative things about me. I don't doubt it. No. I love her. I love my children.
You can have all those feelings, I think, and act in the heat of the moment. I don't doubt any of that.
None of this sounds like heat of the moment. I still say there has to be another other person who either surprised her at the door or there was, are still if someone didn't surprise her, then she must have known the person who came. And that would tell me that there was someone else. That she didn't tell me the truth when she said there wasn't. If you're adamant that it's not Cakeman, then there has to be someone else. But I don't know who that is.
Cakeman is 6.5 hour drive from here. There's no way he could have made that drive. If he flew, we would have record of that. That doesn't show up on any sort of flight record through the FBI, DEA, Homeland Security, anything like that. And then, in fact, he was contacted in his house, severely intoxicated.
All this time that we've been looking for him, for the protection order, and you just found him today, like that?
Because I've been looking at you, but I've been waiting for these records to come back.
We've been chasing the wrong dog.
Am I under arrest? It sounds like you're accusing me.
We have a lot of information that points your direction, and we were hoping that you could provide a legitimate explanation other than it wasn't me.
We have publicly available internet. I was hosting, for example, a meeting yesterday. I can literally pull up the video and show you the number of people who joined in who were not state employees, who either showed up in the room or accessed us online. I don't have a narrative or a story that I can offer you. Because I thought we were on the same side.
We're on the same side. Safety, figuring out the truth.
From this point forward, Daniel becomes less guarded, offering more details than before. But by now, everyone in the room sees him differently. He's no longer just a grieving husband. He's the prime suspect. His claims about public Wi-Fi and mysterious intruders don't hold up, and the detectives know it. They're ready to press harder for a confession. But the question is, will he break?
Why was your stomach so upset this morning?
I have a sensitive stomach. I've always had a sensitive stomach. I still can't remember what the heck I served everyone for dinner last night that did not sit well with me. Something
Do you have diagnosed IBS or celiacs or Crohn's or anything?
No, none of that. Just, I'm either anemic or borderline anemic, but that doesn't necessarily upset my stomach. This was just something I ate.
What would you think, or what would you say if we told you that other people you talk to that are close to your wife expressed that she had maybe told them that she suspected you of having...
She said that right to my face. That she wanted to know if it was me. And I told her no.
But why would she suspect that? I don't understand how we take the leap from we haven't had a romantic relationship for a long time in our marriage to I suspect my husband is pretending to be my stalker. How does that happen? There's a missing explanation in there. There's a missing piece to that. I mean, human nature. There has to be some I get that you're very calm. You seem like a very calm, logical guy. Like,
Consider yourself analytical.
Analytical. I get that. But human nature, there are going to be volatile, heated, whatever word you want to use, moments in a relationship where you love someone and you don't feel it back. And I haven't heard a lot of that from you. Although it sure sounds like she was accusing you of everything and not giving you any love or support or even making you feel like she cared. So there has to be more to your story even with her. I don't know. Did she tell you last night that she's done? She's moving out? That she has a boyfriend? Did you guys get into an argument?
No. Last night was calm. We talked about, I don't remember if this was last night. We talked about plans for Christmas. Who was going to be where, sticking with the Thanksgiving approach of 2 separate Christmases. Yeah. And then we started talking about gifts and what still had to be bought for the kids. And there was no
heated argument. But it also seems like there was a little bit of irritation this morning that you were still at home. And that seemed to have irritated you, that she was questioning. I mean, I'd be irritated if my husband's questioning why I'm in my own freaking house.
It confused me. It didn't irritate me. It confused me because she doesn't usually care what time I leave.
Did you throw that back of like, well, why do you care? What are you doing today, or anything like that?
No, I didn't want to make fights. I don't like fights.
And
to your point, I don't know if this makes a point at all. How does she go from, this must be my husband? I have no idea. I really don't. But what I've heard in the last few weeks was her saying
file back about the IP address stuff he just texted me.
Okay, cool.
So I lost my train of thought. Her saying, because I asked, what the history with Anthony was. And her saying that he was her first love. She took his virginity. It was a wonderful time in her life. She was happy. He couldn't possibly be the one who did all of this.
I don't think it's him either. Based on here's the other thing is he's provided a statement. He's provided that very much coincides with what she's told us about their last communications, without the stalking stuff, without knowing. I mean, we don't have, we interview people. What I'm saying is that he's consistent with what she has told other people about their last contact. And he's very open with, what sort of his phone, and so are you. I'm not saying you're not at all, but I think there's more to the story. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. And what I want you to know is that, and feel that, based on what you've told me and what I've learned about your relationship, is that it sure sounds like you were, I don't know, I don't know if it was being used or what it was, but you guys were kind of going through the motions in your marriage, and I think all this stalking stuff became an opportunity for you guys to get closer, or for you to try to dig about this affair that she's having, or maybe try to confirm or not confirm this mystery time lapse disappearances of hers. Because you're a smart guy, and you couldn't get the information from her by asking her.
This is a really convoluted way of getting it. I don't have a story to tell you. I wish I did. I am crushed at the foot this is. My children still in Hawaii.
They went home with their grandma and aunt and uncle.
What time is it?
Current time, 6 o'clock, 6:02. Are you hungry or anything?
No. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I want to hug my children. And I want to know that they're safe. And I need to figure out where the hell they're sleeping tonight. I've answered a bunch of your questions. Can you please answer mine? Where is Christian?
She's still at the house.
The detectives can feel the interview winding down. And with Daniel not under arrest, he could walk out at any moment. That leaves them with one last chance: to push for a confession, or at the very least, gather more information to strengthen their case.
I want to go see my children. I've explained this to Lois. In my family, when bad things happen, you don't scatter. I want to see my children. Are we done here?
it's up to you. I mean, I think we still have a lot of unanswered questions, but I mean, I'd like to know what happened this morning. I'd like to know
Me too.
what caused you to get so upset to hurt your wife, because I believe that's what happened. I believe that you've been because there's no other logical explanation.
I want to know what happened to her. Did she fight? Did she get shots off? Where was she in the house? I have Linda, who said they were doing CPR in the garage. That's all I know. So tell me, did she fight? Did she get shots off? Where is she in the house?
We haven't been there to know. And there's only one person in this room that can tell us. Because Detective King Solomon and I have been here with you.
I think you know the answer to all those questions. And I think that the evidence will show us that, but we're not there to look at it because we're hopeful that you're going to tell us the truth about what happened, and finally show your wife that you truly do love her by coming clean on all this stuff.
And there has to be someone else. There has to be. You've asked me I can't even count how many times. Is there a boyfriend? There fucking has to be.
Why would the boyfriend kill her, though? Because if the boyfriend wanted to be with her, I don't know, I've seen a lot of crime drama. I know you don't. But if the boyfriend wanted to be with her, he would want to eliminate you. And I don't think they can mistaken you for him.
No.
Or her. I mean, I don't think you guys look alike.
No.
So, I mean, why would a boyfriend who is spending time with, let's just use your theory, probably having sex with, probably good sex because it's a fair sex, probably hearing her talk about how she wants to divorce you and is making plans to divorce you, why in God's name would that boyfriend then come over to her house and kill her?
I have no idea. Maybe she got cold feet. Maybe she was tired of that. Maybe she had two. I don't know.
I think you got confirmation or found out that she had a boyfriend this morning, or something happened that pissed you off, and you did something that you regret now because you can't go back. And you can't go back to stalking her secretly, or pretending to be her stalker, or making plans, having cooperation with one another, although it's not romantic, having cooperation with one another to fight together against Kickman. That's what I think happened. And I think it's a shame that you're not being more honest about it, because your wife deserves it.
I've answered all of your questions that I can. Please let me know when I can return to my house. I need to figure out what the heck to do for it all. I need to take care of my children. You have your theory. It is wrong. Please find the right one. When you're done, may I please have my phones and the keys to my car?
So the last thing that we're going to do before we get to that point is we need to process you for physical evidence, okay?
And is this the point where, on that, whatever that checklist is, I say, I'll have an attorney.
Yeah, that's fine. But the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to process you for physical evidence.
I don't know what that means.
Let me explain it, okay? But you're trying to rush out of here, and we still have about 15 minutes together, so we can take care of all of that stuff, okay? So we need to collect your clothes, we need to take the buccal swab sample that we talked about earlier. And before we get out of here, we need to take overall photos and collect your clothes. Okay?
Okay.
So give us about 5 minutes. I'm going to go make sure my CSI tech is here so we can take care of that on the sooner side, okay?
What clothes do I get?
We have extra clothes for you. You're not going to
arrest me for that.
Despite multiple contradictions in his story, Daniel continued to deny any involvement in Christile's death, insisting he had nothing to do with it. For now, the denials left the rest to the detectives and the evidence. 4 days after Christile was killed, investigators arrested Daniel Krug on suspicion of murder and booked him on a $5 million bond. The district attorney's office told the court that the evidence overwhelmingly pointed to Daniel as the killer. Key pieces included an IP address tying the stalker's email account back to his office, confirmation that Anthony Kickman had a solid alibi, and statements from Christile to detectives, family, and friends that she suspected her husband was the one harassing her. As investigators dug deeper, they found more troubling details. Search history recovered from Daniel's devices showed that on December 13th, the day before Christile's death, he had repeatedly Googled questions like, "How hard would you have to hit someone in the head to make them unconscious?" And, "How long can you be unconscious without brain damage?" Police reviewed surveillance footage from 42 homes across the neighborhood, searching for any sign of an intruder. Not a single camera showed evidence that a stranger had entered the Krug residence that morning. Instead, prosecutors argued that Daniel had staged the entire situation. They claimed he used Christile's own phone to disable the family's security system, covered the doorbell camera with painter's tape, and then attacked her inside the home. Afterward, he allegedly shut off his car's dash cam before leaving for work at 8:24 a.m., nearly half an hour later than his normally strict routine. Christile's family supported the prosecution's narrative, telling investigators that she had already decided to divorce Daniel and fight for full custody of the children. She confided in them that he was too rough with the kids, one of the key reasons she was ready to leave. Prosecutors painted a chilling picture. Daniel had invented a stalker, using it as a twisted way to draw Christile back toward him. But when he realized she still planned to leave, they argued, he lashed out in rage and killed her. Senior Deputy District Attorney Kate Armstrong made her point to the jury clear. This wasn't love. This was about control. By December 14th, his resentment had boiled into rage. Think about what he did to her. Those are not the actions of someone who loves his wife. The defense countered, insisting Daniel was innocent. His attorney, Philip Geigel, told the jury, "There is an enormous disconnect between the physical evidence and the circumstantial picture the prosecution wants you to believe. Mr. Krug did not kill his wife. He did not commit these crimes." But the jury sided with the prosecution. On April 17, 2025, Daniel Krug was convicted of first-degree murder, 2 counts of stalking, and 1 count of criminal impersonation. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In addition, the judge imposed an extra 9.5 years for the stalking and impersonation convictions, ensuring he will never walk free again. The trial revealed even more disturbing details. Prosecutors showed that Daniel hadn't just terrorized Christile with fake messages. He went further. Investigators uncovered that after Christile was already dead, messages were sent from her phone to her brother and even to a detective, all in an effort to make it look like she was still alive and being harassed. They also traced burner phones back to Daniel's movements, connecting him directly to the fake Anthony persona he created to torment his wife. Perhaps the most heartbreaking detail came after sentencing. With Daniel behind bars and Christelle gone, their 3 children were left in the care of Christelle's brother and his spouse, supported by extended family. What prosecutors described in court as Daniel's attempt to hold his family together through manipulation, instead shattered it forever. Daniel's story is now seen as one of calculated deception, a man who built a fake stalker to control his wife, only to murder her when she refused to stay. It was not a crime of passion, but a plan rooted in control, resentment, and rage. And in the end, it left 3 children without either parent, carrying the weight of tragedy for the rest of their lives.